Well, we also got a terrible show tonight. Name my topic tonight is called Crazy and Crap in Clearwater, Florida. It's my topic tonight. So much I would say. Before I do, I'm gonna show a little music. I'm gonna show this number one hit single, R&B hit single from that I used to like listen to when I was little. It's called My Boo by the Ghost Town DJs. So so stick around, right back. Been playing you all in my review. Yep, My Boo, all you just heard by Ghost Town DJs, all you just heard. So let's get down to business. Tonight's terrible show. And by the way, one thing I forgot to mention to all of you, I was last Monday when I was doing my wrestling history and birthdays. I forgot to mention what happened on for a little piece of wrestling history from July the 4th. What happened in 2006 on ECW on Sci-Fi. What happened was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Rockhaven Center. Mike Knox with Kevin Kelly defeated Nunzio, Test defeated Al Snow, and then Big Show defeated RVD to win the World Heavyweight ECW World Heavyweight Championship. And the reason why, because what happened was Paul Heyman double crossed RVD and gave the title. Big Show screwed him. And Taz and Joey Stars were disgusted because they knew Paul Heyman for so many years and screw him and give it to the Big Show. Call it a little Philly screw job right there. Back to what I was doing, finishing up. We kick off backstage where Renee talks to Kenny Omega about what looks like to be the biggest and most important match ever tonight. Kenny Omega addresses the issues he had with his friends over the years, leading to Michael Nagasawa being in NGF against MJF. He acknowledges that things didn't go well when they last faced off for the title. Then we see a little match up here with Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa to the corner. Covered by Ciampa, it's only good for a 2 count. Chops, setting Jericho up for the walls of Jericho, but Jericho fights him off, forcing Ciampa to retreat to the corner, dropping down. Ciampa is back up, grabbing a nearby pair of sand that tries to Jericho, but Jericho kicks out. Schumacher gets back for a running knee. Jericho gigs him on for a second, which Ciampa obliges. Covered by Ciampa, but Jericho kicks out. He blocks the final running knee attempt, bringing Tommaso to the mat for the walls. Ciampa crawls to the ropes where he grabs the pail of sand. Ref pulls the pail away from him, but with the distracted Tommaso grabs a handful of sand and throws it out up next. Before we get there, however, we go to Visionary Brown featuring the Brown Birds to get to a bar fight, some local talent and presumed parents. He runs down Warren Jack Street for saying he's hoping the all-in main event will be Ospreay versus Omega for the world title. Warren Jackers Freeman interrupts to poke fun at Ospreay for among other things wanting to love and affection of Jon Moxley. He takes fired up as he talks down Warren Jackers Freeman. He says Warren Jackers ready for the two start to brawl. Security breaks up as Warren Jackers Freeman tells Ospreay that Omega is a dead man's match is underway. Here we go, International Championship match. AEW International Championship match. Kazuki Takeshita defends against Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher turns his back on the champ to start things off before the two block up. Following Flan Charger and Don Casper going back to work on the challenger. He brings Fletcher back in the ring, but a distraction from Kyle allows Kyle to regain control. He rings the arm of the champion, but the right hand is blocked as Takeshita goes for the chokehold. Fletcher breaks free, hitting the ropes for the champ, and the champ sends him to the outside with a boot that dives, sends Fletcher to the floor as we go to an ad break. Ad break on HBO Max. Both men are in the ring now, trading strikes until Fletcher takes a boot. He hits he blocks the leaping lariat with an uppercut before hitting the ropes and runs to a Blue Thunder bomb by the champ. Both men are down until Takeshita gets back to his feet. Fletcher is on the rope apron as Kazuki looks for a brainbuster, but Kyle blocks it. Kazuki to grab the bottom rope. Kazuki goes for a corner, dropping his knee to pad for a power drive. Takeshita looks to take a fight to Fletcher in the corner, but the challenger drops him with a brainbuster on a turnbuckle for the win. Winner being his first time on TBS television, the former champion for Callis interrupts. He's not happy. He wants to talk about subject Don doesn't know much about credibility. When he talks about Kyle being one of the finest young talents alive, he means it, but he wants to take a moment to focus on his shoes. He talks about that. As the workhorsemen are in the ring as Mark's interest to get this match underway. Death Rise, John Moxley and Will Ospreay versus the War Horsemen, Eddie Drake and Anthony Henry. Henry and a few minutes later in the match, Henry takes control of the ring, dropping Ospreay into the mat before Drake taking Drake to go for the double team before Ospreay fights back with Hurricanrana and the corkscrew cutter. Tag made to Mox, who sends JD into the outside to a dive. He brings Drake back into the ring and lands clothesline in the corner, followed by some right hands and a bite to the forehead. Henry takes control of the ring, dropping Ospreay to the mat before taking Drake. He double team Drake, double team before Ospreay fights back with Hurricane with a corkscrew cutter. Tag made to Mox, who sends him to JD to the outside for a dive. He brings Jake back in the ring and lands clothesline in the corner, followed by some right hands and a bite to the forehead. Henry looks to intervene, but gets dropped hard by John, who gets knocked by JD. JD leaves the ring for a breather, and Shafir Headland to fire up before he heads back in. Ospreay comes into the ring for a Styles clash on Drake and Mox. Drops Henry with a paragram shift. He lands on another one on JD, followed by a hidden blade from Ospreay as Mox gets a pin for his team. Ospreay celebrates in the ring and Mercury leaves the ring crowd. Commentary highlights the remaining matches for tonight before we go to Vision. Focus on Akira Shida winning the AEW TBS Championship last week in Survivor the Fittest. Commentary shows us some appreciation. Clearwater Beach as and the host for the night as we head backstage for our next match. Ziggler comes out. Keep an eye on who wins the shot over the AEW Women's Championship at Redemption. Mercedes Moné is keeping an eye on things well as for Lifeguard Trails. We still face the champion at All In after winning the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. First entrant in Casino Gauntlet is Athena, and their second is her protege rival Maya World as this match gets underway. Women's World Title number one contender Casino Gauntlet. A few minutes later in the match, commercial break, they come back as the Marina Shakira makes their way out next. Entrant. She goes after all three other women in the ring, fending them off until Maya gets a clutch for a near fall, meaning fights back into me and Roaster taking the world down for for a 2 count. 2 count as our next entry comes out. It's Rena's representing Stardom. She makes a beeline for the ring where she forearm straight strikes Mina with blue fights of Fino in the corner. Rena makes her take down and Mina take a quick descent by our ring room. Mark Shakira's shimmy before taking a boot by Athena. Fights back with a shotgun drop kick and before taking out Maya, we get a near falls. Rena out next. Comes out is out not comes out as Julia Hart take to round to out for a triangle of madness. And she brings a trash can. We see called the Forever Champion. Ring out for safety. You got as long as Hart steals a chair from ringside to make officials Athena as well as official. Sky leaves the ring for a chair as Athena takes the timekeeper's area. Attacking the announcer along the way. Just turns his sister attacking security to go to an ad break. Back from break, our countdown brings out the next entrance in Thunder Rosa. She goes right after her sister, sending Julia right in the ring before landing a dropkick. It drives the trash lane into blue. Hart comes back, gets taken for the cover, but Maya breaks the pin. Thunder Rosa takes her to the mat for a near fall before Athena breaks it up as well. This leads to the two fighting out. Neck breaker of sorts throws Rosa gets to the mat. Taking with her sister's double team her. Sky hits to the top rope, but she's pulled out of the ring by Maya with some Mushu driver, and her will kicks out by a near fall by Hart, but dropping her to her with a baby and a power bomb for the win. Winner by pinfall, number one contender for the AEW Women's Tag. We get Vision looking at Jack Perry make his history AEW and West Kingston resign with the Camp Company. Backstage, Speedball Mike Bailey talks to Renee about wanting some revenge against the Don Callis family, challenging Mark Davis to a match at Collision in the AEW National Championship. Our main event is as Kenny Omega challenges Moore and Texas Freeman for AEW World Champion. If he loses, Kenny could never be challenged for a title again. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm back. As I was saying, let me finish up. Yeah, we are ringside. We're head back to ringside for main event. Kenny Omega gets an standing instruction, hyping up his history heading into tonight's match. Omega makes his way down to the ramp to a big reaction from the crowd. As more out next is Warren Jackson gets Randy Orton style curtain power on his way to the ring. Yeah, getting introduced for Omega and Warren Jackson emphasizing that he get kicked out of the One Ring Angel was nothing before this match gets underway. AEW World Championship match, Warren Jackson defends against Kenny Omega. The two men stand in the corner before rushing into the center, where Omega lands in some hard right hands on champ. Warren Jackson sneaks attack to gain control, not for long, as Kenny Omega counters out before looking for a one-wing angel before Warren Jackson breaks free, sending the challenger out the ring instead. Warren Jackson falls him out of the ring, but instead of attacking Kenny further, he makes an escape for the crowd. Kenny is back on his feet following the champ when he manages to intercept Warren Jackson. He turns back around to mock Kenny and the fans with a pose. Kenny fires back with some right hands for directing traffic from the chairs, away from the chairs, so he can launch the champ into them. Then a few minutes later, Omega brings the champ away from the scene, sending him into another chair before bringing back toward ringside. He brings more Dragon Stream into the ring before hitting the ropes for a V-trigger, only for a champ to pull the ref into the path. Stopping Kenny in his tracks, he takes advantage by biting his challenger in the head, forcing Omega to the apron. He takes another bite before mocking the crowd, but Kenny breaks free from the heat seeker. Warren Jackson catches him with a cutter from the ropes instead, making the cover, only gets a 2 count, keeps Omega off his game, sending the challenger to the ropes for running the crowd down for some more. Kenny starts to retreat up from the ramp before Warren Jackson follows him, only to be sent face first into the lifeguard chair. Omega climbs to the chair for a big moonsault, sending the champ down on the sand. Omega gets back to his feet, bringing Warren Jackson back down to the ramp, onto the ramp to the ring. He goes up top for a drop kick, sending Warren Jackson into the mat before the champ rolls out of the ring. Omega tires up before hitting the ropes, dropping Warren Jackson to the floor with a dive over the top rope for Warren Jackson back into the ring for sliding in. He runs to ropes with a speed ball with a blue shadow and net breaker, forcing the champ to see escape the apron. V-trigger misses, and Warren Jackson says to face first into the ropes instead. Omega sends the champ to the ropes over a snapdragon, fighting off the attack from Warren Jackson before both men hit the ropes and double down. Then a few minutes later, back from a little break, both men are back in the ring, especially a few minutes later, both men are back in the ring, especially on the apron, as Omega brings the champ back to his feet for some chops. Clubbing forearm takes Warren Jackson down, and this allows the champ to set for a one-wing angel. Warren Jackson fights back, forcing Omega to send him back into the ring instead. MJF follows Omega to the outside, but takes a chop. Omega lets him down. He can't escape running front for fireman can't slam. And gets a barricade for a moonsault. But Warren Jackson fights back before taking Omega to the floor with tombstone power on. Warren Jackson is to slow to his feet as he brings the challenger back into the ring. He looks for a heat seeker, but it's not backed by Omega. Kenny looks for a V-trigger off the top rope and drops to the mat, where he catches the champ for a knee strike instead. He sets up Warren Jackson for a snapdragon suplex, forcing the champ into the corner for a V-trigger. He props Warren Jackson onto the top turnbuckle as the champ tries to escape. He takes a couple of palm strikes by Omega, who gets Warren Jackson on the shoulder, only be taken to the canvas for a poison round instead. He brings out Omega to the ropes for a heat seeker in a cover, but only Kenny and nearly kicks out at it too. Warren Jackson escapes the ring as Omega tries to get back on his feet, as we see a champ grab his title from a timekeeper area. He brings it back into the ring, but the ref catches him and takes the belt away. Warren Jackson Freeman starts to pull out his diamond ring, but Will comes out. Ospreay, who grabs the ring away from the champ. The ref catches this as and has something of an argument with Ospreay while Omega grabs the world title. Looking at to hit the champ with it, he decides against it, and Mojo Extreme takes advantage of this. The low blow covered by Mojo Extreme as Omega kicks it at one. Kane fires back, setting up a multiple V triggers and a one-wing angel, and he gets the pin in the win. Via pinfall on the new AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. Kenny gets some extra pyro and a graphic on the screen hyping his title win and the fact that he is set to face Will Ospreay at All In as Beach Break Dynamite comes to a close. Bad show tonight, very terrible bad show tonight. WWE's getting that good eating. Mick Foley and AEW no longer with WWE is something unbelievable, isn't it? Mick Foley no longer with WWE, now he's with AEW. Shame. Now it's time for some wrestling history. Let's go yesterday, July 7th. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Bret the Hitman Hart turn. Wait. Okay, Ringo Starr turned 86 yesterday. Michelle Kwan turned 46 yesterday. Now I got working. Now it's working. Let's see. Alan Funk turns 55 yesterday. And Mexican and Puerto Rican wrestler Tomas Marin, he turns he would have been 92 yesterday. He died of colorectal cancer at the age of 84. And yesterday, wrestling history yesterday. Wrestling history yesterday on WWF, on WCW, WWF, WWE Primetime Wrestling. The Heenan fan Big John Studd and King Kong Money with Bobby Heenan defeated Jim Powers and Michael Sexton. Crush Gals, Chizao, Nangayo, and Lions Oscar defeated Black Venus and Kalani Kai. Blackjack Hangs defeated Frank McConey. King Harley Race defeated Special Louis Jones. Pedro Morales defeated Barry O, and George Wells and Elaine Prophet defeated Johnny K9 and Rusty Brooks. The Hart Foundation, Jimmy the Amp Neidhart and Jimmy Hart, Bret Heyman Hart and Jimmy the Amp Neidhart with Jimmy Hart defeated Killer Beast, Bray Brian Blair, and Jim Brunzell. This was taken from house shows. It was hosted by Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Brain Heenan. Then on WCW main event, counting down to Bash the Beach. Cannon and Bash at the Beach. The Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner and Scott, defeated Harlan Heat and Colonel Tom Parker and Sister Sherry by DQ. WCW World Tag Team Championship match. Bobby Walker defeated Billy Kidman. Rock and Roll Express defeated Fire and Ice. And Eddie Guerrero defeated Laura Steenwood. And a pay-per-view that started it all, 96, Bash at the Beach, began. And first it took place at in Daytona Beach at the Ocean Center. 8,300 were attendance. It was the host House of Takeover. First opening contest, the match was Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Psychosis and John Tenta, Big Bubba. Late John Tenta, some of you know, was Earthquake, Shark, and Avalanche defeated Big Bubba, some of you know, is the Big Boss Man. Mascot Jimmy Hart. This was a Carson City Silver Dollar match. And DDP defeated Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Tate Fist match. And Nasty Boys Brian Knobs and Sags defeated Public Enemy, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge in double dog count card match. And rest in peace to these two, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge. Sad these two are gone. Dean Malenko defeated Disco Inferno by submission for WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Steve Mongo Marco with Queen Delbert, so we know is Stone Cold's wife. Defeated Joe Gomez. Nature Boy Ric Flair with Miss Elizabeth and Woman defeated Conan in a singles match for WCW US title. The Giant in a test match defeated Arn Anderson and Chris Benoit. Then in the main event, the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and versus Randy Savage and Sting, Lex Luger in a no contest until one of the best shocking wrestling moments in wrestling history began. And Hulk Hogan showed up, revealed to be the third man for the Outsiders and turned heel for the first time in his career. And then he made a little heel promo. Listen to this. No friend of mine from Pittsburgh remembers this epic moment right here.
And then there was one, and it was Sting, and he didn't look too good. Hulkamania! Hulk Hogan is here! Hulk Hogan's here! Hulk Hogan is in the building! You're damn right he is! Go get him, Hulkster! Yeah, but whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Yes, sir! Get him, Hogan! Go get him, baby! Come on and get some of this now! Who's bad now, boys? Hulk Hogan arrives. Hulk. What is he doing? God. Is he the third man? He's the third man. What the hell is going on here? Hulk Hogan has betrayed WCW. He is the third man. Look at this picture. Oh my God. What the hell is going on? Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Probably the lowest shot ever given to professional wrestling. That man did right there, Hulk Hogan. Let's get everybody out of the dressing room right now and kick his rear end. Unbelievable, brother. What have I been saying all these years? What have I been saying all these years? Oh my God. A career of a lifetime. Right down the drain, kid. I hope you love it. Can you just sold your soul to the devil? See those little Hulksters with the tears rolling down their face right now? We are not going to even acknowledge that 3 count. Now what happens to us? What happens now to WCW? There was no 3 count. I never thought I would say that he's yellow, but he may be wearing red, but he's wearing red and yellow. What do we do now? I'll tell you what. This is a unbelievable situation right here at Bash at the Beach. Hulkamania, the third guy with the Outsiders, betrayed WCW. Can't talk. Well, I told you so. Enjoy it, my friend. You got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to stand up and look in the mirror. There you go. That's right. I never thought I'd see people throwing debris at Hulk Hogan. I knew it should have been done a long time ago. I guess this was premeditated all the way back from '94. I guess this is what it was. Look at the ring. The most incredible scene. And Savage, his best friend, one of his best friends, Hogan turns on. Ladies, I don't know where we're going. He has slept with the devil. We need to get someone out there and... Okay, now us 3. Now where do we go from here? Oh my God. What about Nitro tomorrow? What happens on Nitro? Gene, I don't know what you think of this, my man, but this has to be the absolute worst moment in my broadcasting career, and we're all witnessing it. Look at Oakhorn. He looks like he's going to break up.
Go ahead, Gene.
Hulk Hogan, excuse me. Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
I have been with you for so many years. For you to join up with the likes of these two men absolutely makes me sick to my stomach. And I think that these people here and a lot of other people around the world have had just about enough of this man, and you want to put yourself in this group? You've got to be kidding me.
Well, the first thing you gotta realize, brother, is this right here is the future of wrestling. You can call this the new world order of wrestling, brother. These two men right here came from a great big organization up north, and everybody was wondering who the third man was. Well, who knows more about that organization than me, brother?
I've been there, I've done that. You have made the wrong decision, in my opinion.
Well, let me tell you something. I made that organization a monster. I made people rich up there. I made the people that ran that organization rich up there, brother. And when it all came to pass, the name Hulk Hogan, the man Hulk Hogan, got bigger than the whole organization, brother. And then billionaire Ted, amigo, he wanted to talk turkey with Hulk Hogan. Well, billionaire Ted promised me movies, brother. Billionaire Ted promised me millions of dollars. And billionaire Ted promised me world caliber matches. And as far as billionaire Ted goes, Eric Bischoff and the whole WCW goes, I'm bored, brother. That's why these two guys here, the so-called outsiders, these are the men I want as my friends. They're the new blood of professional wrestling, brother. And not only are we gonna take over the whole wrestling business with Hulk Hogan and the new blood, the monsters with me, we will destroy everything in our path, Mean Gene.
Look at all of this crap in this ring. This is what's in the future for you if you want to hang around the likes of this man Hall and this man Nash.
As far as I'm concerned, all of this crap in the ring represents these fans out here. For 2 years, brother, for 2 years, I held my head high. I did everything for the charities. I did everything for the kids. And the reception I got when I came out here, you fans can stick it, brother. Because if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, you people wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff would be still selling meat from a truck in Minneapolis. And if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, all these Johnny-come-latelys that you see out here, wrestling wouldn't be here. I was selling out the world, brother, while they were bumming gas to put in their car to get to high school. So the way it is now, brother, with Hulk Hogan and the New World Organization of Wrestling, brother, me and the new blood by my side, what you gonna do when the New World Organization runs wild on you? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Don't touch me, I'm gonna flee the lawyers. Tony, Bobby, Dusty, damn it, let's get back to you.
All right, we have seen the end of Hulkamania. For Bobby the Brain Heenan, for Dusty Rhodes, Gene Okerlund, I don't know. I'm Tony Schiavone. Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell. We're out of here. Straight to hell.
Yep, that's where it all started. Birth of Hulk Hogan's heel turn and birth of the NWO. And it was Eric Bischoff's idea for Hulk Hogan to turn heel, join make the NWO, because he's seen Hulk Hogan play wrestling heel as Thunder Lips in Rocky 3 with Sylvester Stallone. And then see what else? Some history, other wrestling history. For July the 7th, it's 12 a.m. right now. Just go for July the 7th. On SmackDown, July 7th, 2006, King in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Wachovia Center. King Booker defeated Brian Kendrick, Finlay, and Funaki, Damon Noble, Kid Cash, Matt Hardy, Mr. Kennedy, Paul London, Psychosis, Sky Too High, Simon Dean, Super Crazy, William Regal. In the world in the world heavyweight title with #1 contendership battle royal. Yeah, King Booker won. Mr. Kane defeated Super Crazy. Tanaka versus Great Khali Devara in the no contest. Vito defeated Psychosis. Pitbulls, Jamie Noble and Kid Cash defeated Funaki and Sky Too High. Bobby Lashley defeated Gregory Holmes in the started return of Batista, wanting to get his revenge on Mark Henry, who's gone for 6 months out of action, leading up to the Great American Bash. And a little pop culture go, and then a couple of movies released in theaters on July 7, 2006. A couple of movies released in theaters. A Scanner Dark List starring Woody Harrelson, Keanu Reeves, Woody Harrelson, Robert Downey Jr., Winona Ryder was released in theaters. And Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, sequel to 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. So Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley starring the movie. In 2016, July 7th, SmackDown. July 6th, July 7th for SmackDown. 2016. On Thursday night SmackDown, we're Hamilton Center in Toledo, Ohio. Seth Rollins defeated Jey Uso. Zack Ryder defeated Sheamus. AJ Styles with Kyle Anderson. Luke Gallows defeated Enzo Amore and Big Cass. The Miz when Maurice defeated Klitschko. Sami Zayn defeated Chris Jericho. Now let's go to July the 8th. Yesterday. Okay, Mark Merrow. Some of you know is Mark Merrow. He turned 66 yesterday. Some sort of 63 or 60. Some sort, but sources turned 65 yesterday. Thunderbolt Patterson turned Thunderbolt Patterson, he turned 80 85 yesterday. And Mr. Lance turned 51 yesterday. Yeah, Mike Butch Brandon and Mr. Lance turned 51 yesterday. And let's see what else. Birthdays for July the 8th. Let's see what else. See on WCW Prime, July 8th, 1996. Macho Man Randy Savage defeated Disco Inferno on WCW Prime. Then on the Monday Night Wars, July 8th, 1996. Saw on Monday Night Raw on USA Network, Brown County Expo in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Gorilla Monsoon just announced that he announced that Ultimate Warrior was definitely suspended for failing to appear at 3 recent house show events. Then Ultimate Warrior in his last match defeated Owen Hart with Jim Cornette via the DQ. Savio Vega defeated Justin Hart Bradshaw with Uncle Zebekiah. The British Bulldog David Boy Smith and Vader with Jim Cornette and Diana Hart Smith defeated the Godwins Henry and Phineas with Hillbilly Jim. And Monsoon offered the Warrior to return if he posted an appearance of Bond, sure the fans would. In fact, he would appear when advertised. And for future closing segment, with Shawn Michaels' armor just revealed to Jim Cornette and wrote that a new partner to replace Ultimate Warrior will be Psycho Sid at International Incident. This was Sid return after being gone since early in the year. And then on WCW Monday Night Show tonight after Bash at the Beach, It took place at Disney Entertainment Studios, Atlanta, California. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Dean Malenko to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Cruiserweight Championship. And Blue Bloods, Laura Steven Regal and Squire Dave Taylor, Earl Robert Eaton, and Jeeves defeated Big Bubba Rogers and Hugh Morris, and with Mountain South Jimmy Hart. Egro defeated Psychosis, and Steiner Brothers Rick and Scott defeated Nasty Boys. And WCW World Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders match, Ric Flair with Deborah McMichael, Elizabeth, and Woman defeated Jim Powers, retaining the WCW US Cruiserweight Championship. And then this is what I show. I want you guys all to listen. This is what the hypocrisy of the four horsemen of what some of what Arn Anderson said about in his interview about condemning Hogan's heel actions. This is what the hypocrisy of the four horsemen. Why Arn Anderson should be talking. I'm gonna show that to all of you. Listen to this. This is why Arn Anderson shouldn't be talking. Listen to this. His hypocrisy in condemning Hogan's actions, turning on heel, turning on WCW and the fans. So I'm sorry about that, everybody. Let me sorry about that little uh, uh, sh press mute on it. I'm sorry for all of you again.
Solar plexus has the figure 4. There's your winner, the United States heavyweight champion, soon to be, in my prediction, the heavyweight champion of the world, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. All right, let's. I think Gene Okerlund is standing by.
Eric, it seems like it's kind of solemn, a kind of a letdown after last night, but I guarantee you things are going to be heating up. But personally, for me, woman, try restrain yourself. Joining me, the Four Horsemen, Sans, Chris Benoit, still U.S. champ from last night. Arn Anderson, I know after last evening, a lot of things running through even the minds of the Horsemen.
You know, last night there was a lot of highs and a lot of lows for the Horsemen. Big Michael, big win. Flair, now the U.S. champion. Things didn't go exactly like we wanted. Consequently, we don't get a title shot. But what I saw at the end of the night made me want to puke. You see, the Horsemen have never tried to be role models. We've never claimed to be role models. But there's a man out there that was his claim to fame, and there's people all across this world that their very lives hinged on what he said. So what you did, I was one of those that with a vengeance went after you, and you know who you are. But it's not supposed to end like this. You're supposed to stand for something. You're not supposed to leave like a thief in the night. While everybody's heart that you stepped and stomped on last night are going to rise up to bite you and bite you real hard. Ask me, I know.
Got a pretty good idea where that fight might take place. Steve Mongo McMichael, successful last night at the Bash at the Beach.
Insider, outsider. Just like the term Four Horsemen alludes to, my friend, the apocalypse is on the WCW, and it don't have anything to do with anybody else but the Four Horsemen.
Thank you very much, Nature Boy.
Excuse me? Who do you think this is? Jumpin' Jack Flash? This is 5 times All-Pro, 5 times a man. Show him the ring. And behind me, the Enforcer, AA, unparalleled. And outsiders, insiders, until you can heal the sick, wake the dead, and drive little girls right out of the head. Woo! Giant, giant, giant. There's a new champ in town, buddy. One that can go all night long. Right, girls? Woo!
Thank you very much, gentlemen. They are the Four Horsemen. They are alive and well at World Championship Wrestling. Stay tuned. More exciting action. We are live.
Oh, there now. Like
Live from Orlando. Give it a rest, player. This is not the time or place.
Yep, I was yeah I made a video about that. Yeah, Iron shouldn't be talking, nor the Four Horsemen, nor Flair or Steve Mongo. I mean, they shouldn't be judge Hulk Hogan about his actions at WCW Bash Beach '96, because it's real comment. I know a friend of mine from Pittsburgh might agree with this. I mean, they're known to judge. I mean, they have a history of stabbing Sting in the back in the Four Horsemen, and not to mention they recently stabbing Sting and Lex Luger in the back, and they did damage to so many wrestlers in WCW. Not to mention they even recently had Steve Mongo make a turn heel and join the Four Horsemen, and I'm not to mention what they did to Macho Man Randy Savage. And Ric Flair taunting Macho Man returns with Miss Elizabeth and Woman during the feud. And they recently fought at WCW Slamboree '96 Lethal Lottery. So he shouldn't be talking in that interview with Gene Okerlund. None of the Four Horsemen. Four Horsemen. I mean, that's the Pac calling the kettle black right there. So I know a friend of mine showed that video to a friend of mine from Pittsburgh yesterday. And so you see why they were feuded for the NWO back in later in 1997. And then on see what else. 2016 movies released in theaters July 7, 2016. July the 8th, I mean. Captain Fantastic starring Regal Morrison, Frank Langella, Captain Hahn, and Steve Zahn. The Secret of Pets, anime movie featuring voices of Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family, Louis C.K., Ellie Kemper, Dana Carvey, Steve Coogan, Bobby Moynihan, Albert Brooks, and Mike and Dave Need Wedding Date, starring Zac Efron, Anna Kendrick, and Divine Aubrey Plaza and Stephen Root was released in theaters. Yeah, and Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation. So that will do for my show this midnight. It's 12:26 in the morning. So I hope you have a good morning. It's midnight. It's late chat here, so I said just over Chubb Chicken Dance like Lionel Richie Dance like James Brown, like to get in a hot tub when you sweat, when you dry, gonna be wet. Furniture, A. Murphy, the impression, James Brown, Saturday Night Live. I never grew up in A's group in the 90s, so I reruns old school Saturday Night when I was little. So I hope I'll be good morning. It's midnight. I'm out here. Peace.